how we go. Don't be a joke. Are you joking?
Oh, man.
Hello everyone, I am back with another video this week, and today I want to dive into 7 things I wish I knew when I first started going out. And by going out, I mean on a night out, getting a little bit too boozy, getting a little bit leery, and just exploring certain habits that you pick up along the way when you're younger, and certain habits that you still kind of hold on to when you get older. And I think it's important to look at what these are, particularly, they're all my opinions and from my perspective, but I tend to find that I'm never the only one who harbours the same thoughts and the same feelings. So it's important for me to explore these notions myself and also call myself out on, bad and detrimental habits that I picked up along the way, which, I don't think I need to work on now, although actually, to be fair, that's a fucking lie, but we'll get into that. But yeah, just looking at certain kind of like habits and like thoughts that you kind of pick up along the way when you first start going out, and how we can change them, or at least reflect on them enough that it may change us going forward. So let's dive in.
Oh, man.
So the first one I want to look at is don't chase a good time. And this one's important because particularly when you're wrapped up in drink culture, getting boozy, there's a reason why we have programs like Geordie Shore, because Newcastle, to my mind, is like the centre of the universe when it comes to drink culture.
Absolutely love go-karting. I'm like Super fucking Mario, but with a huge bulge. I grill more birds than George Foreman. Treating these birds to a Scotty T sandwich. I hope they're fucking carnivores, because I've got a pterodactyl in my kegs. Come on.
And drink culture ain't great, but it's something in the UK that you grow up in and around. And it's so easy to assume that drinking is going to take you down a path of having a good time. And if you are on a night out and you're not quite feeling right for whatever reason, the night isn't going the way you want, sometimes you can assume that by drinking more, you're then going to kind of reach that moment of happiness, or kind of like reach that place where the night becomes good. And from my experience, more often than not, that isn't the case. If you feel shit or just don't feel like the night's for you from early on, then just accept it and just go home. There's no shame in going home or just saying, you know what, this night ain't all it's cut out to be. We'll carry on the night, but I'm not going to chase that happy feeling. I'm not going to drink more to compensate for how I'm feeling. Put a stop to it. Don't drink. Go home. Do whatever it is you need to do that will allow you to just accept the fact that tonight isn't my night. But don't think that chasing drink and having more booze is going to change that feeling, because quite honestly, it very rarely does. And I know that for facts, because I used to get so drunk to the point that I would go off and cry in back alleys. But, sometimes drinking more booze just brings up traumas and feelings which you didn't count on crashing headfirst into. And yeah, when you fall into the habits of thinking the booze is going to make you feel better and make a night better, it doesn't. Okay?
Oh, man.
So number 2, don't give in to drink culture. Now by that I mean, when you first start going out, don't assume that going out equates to you having to drink. Don't feel pressured or forced in thinking that if you're going out and not drinking, then you're the weird one of the group, or you're not doing what you should do on a typical night out. Yes, the UK has a ridiculous drink culture.
The thing is, when I'm fucking mortal, I've got any standards. So I literally, I could fucking shag this fucking lamppost right here. It's fucking mental, mate. My mum doesn't know that.
But if you kind of try to knock that on the head from day dot when you first start going out, and just think, you know what, I'm going to have a few nights where I don't want to drink, I don't feel like I need to drink, explore what a night out is without having to drink. Because I think you can get yourself into the habit of going out drinking, and it gets to the point that when you're older, you don't know any different. It creates this barrier for yourself that you don't really know what to do without the crutch that is an alcoholic bev in your hand. Like, I'll have times when I go out and I think I really don't want to drink. I want to have like a month where I don't drink, but then I have this weird feeling where it's like I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my hands. What do I normally do with my hands?
If I don't have a drink in my hand, my hands are in my pockets and my arms are folded, and like I feel like my body language is like all over the place. I feel a little bit more closed off, and like it's weird what that kind of like barrier is like and what it can do to you when you decide not to drink, when all you know is just hoying down beers left, right and centre. So try, see what it's like. Don't drink, you know, just have a go. See what the world is like without an alcoholic bev in your hand. I'm sure it'll be fine. Number 3, fighting doesn't make you look desirable. No, it doesn't make you look like the big, tough hunk that you think it does.
He's adorable and he looks strong. Is he strong?
Oh.
And if you do get in the position where, like a lot of fights do on a night out, they're all kind of formed from you or somebody else having too much to drink, and you're feeling a little bit aggro, someone just kind of like rubs you up the wrong way, or something is happening off in the distance that just sparks your fight or flight response. And you know, you have this urge to kind of get into a scrap, and there's absolutely no need. And I think sometimes in that situation when you have had a few beers, it's really hard. Well, it's not really hard because I don't find it hard at all, but some people find it hard to just take a breath, slow down your thinking, slow down your thought processes, and just kind of think, right, do I need to enter into this combatant situation? Do I really feel the need to have a scrap? What am I fighting for?
Why are we fighting?
I don't know.
There's no harm or no shame in holding your hands up and saying, look mate, I don't want to have a scrap, I don't want to fight. There's no harm or shame in saying that to yourself if you're the one who's trying to instigate something. Just take a deep breath and just think, right, why am I doing this? Why am I actually angry? Why has that made me angry? Is this the best way to handle this situation? Or can I just kind of talk this through? Or do I just leave the situation entirely? Because at the end of the day, having a scrap on a night out, what are you actually gaining from that? No woman's looking at you going, fucking hell, look at him, what a little hottie, sparking somebody out on the floor. That looked like, oh, that really got me going.
What the fuck was that? I know, right? I'm soaked.
No, more often than not, you see girls trying to calm down the situation. They're crying because their mates kind of kicking up a fuss, or they get involved. And, you know, there's a kind of like branch off scrap happening. Like, you are bringing people into your negativity, and that doesn't need to happen. So let's just take a breath. Let's just detract ourselves from the situation, and let's just carry on the night like nothing happened. Number 4, I think we're on 4. Yeah. Don't touch girls' arses. Now, I have been one of these guys when I first started going out that you think that in order to get somebody's attention, rather than just going up to them and just speaking to them and just saying, look, I really want to get to know you, I find you really attractive, or whatever it is you want to say to that person, I don't care. But don't assume that grabbing their arse is a way into their hearts. Like, if anything, who gave you the right to do that? And I've been there, I've been that guy. And I think the reason I did it was, one, I wasn't confident enough to just go up and be that guy who could just start a conversation. I never really have been, but that's not the way to kind of counteract that. And also, it's this notion of, I just want to do it. And again, just that thought process of thinking that if somebody was to turn around and see you doing that, are they actually going to turn around and look at you and go, oh my God, I'm so glad he grabbed my arse, because, oh, how good looking are you Like, again, that is not a thing that happens. And, well, at least not to my knowledge anyway. But, you know, just check yourself and kind of think, you know, why do I think that's okay? Where have I picked that habit up from? Just because I've seen other guys do it doesn't mean that it's right. You know, don't be a fucking sheep in the night. Don't be a sheep in the night. Just don't be a sheep in that situation and just kind of assume that it's an okay thing to do, because it isn't. It's intrusive, it's highly disrespectful, and it's sexual assault at the end of the day. The big one, it's assault. Don't be that guy and don't get into those habits where you think assaulting somebody is okay. How fucking sexually frustrated do you need to be to get your kicks out of just nipping somebody's arse? Anyway, let's just not do that, okay? Let's stop that.
Oh, man.
Number 5. Now, this goes back to number 4, but call out your pals. If you see your pal who's grabbing somebody's arse, or he's getting into a scrap, or he's getting in somebody's face, or he's being sexist, or he's being rude, call them out. There's no better time to call your pals out than when you first start going out, because the longer you leave it, the harder it is to call them out when you get older, because you're already developed these ridiculous and disrespectful and awful habits. Do it from early on. Have the balls to just say, mate, look, you can't be grabbing girls' arses like that. And I know sometimes it's hard, because I've been there where you don't feel like you've got the confidence to do that, because you don't like the notion of confrontation in those moments. But there's no harm in doing it in a way where, you know, think of it like this. Say to a pal, look, I know that you're a good guy, but what you've just done there does not paint the picture of a person that I know. And, you know, you can't be grabbing girls' arses like that. It's just wrong, it's disrespectful, and you're better than that, mate. I know you are. Like, that's a good way to do it. Or, you know, in any other situation where they may be getting in somebody's face, or, you know, they're getting a little bit aggressive, just say, mate, look, I know this isn't you. And, you know, the side of you I'm seeing right now is not a side that I want to continue seeing. You are so much better than this, and I've got a lot of respect for you. So please don't be that guy. Just, you know, there's nice ways to do it, and I think it's important to understand how we can phrase it and say things to our friends in a way that doesn't kind of create an overly confrontational situation. But it is important from early on to kind of start having those conversations and calling your mates out on bad habits, because it makes it harder later on in life to kind of stop your mates from doing things when you've never stopped them before, because they've formed habits which are just going to become more ingrained in them, and it's going to be harder for them to change, because again, they've went through years thinking that it was okay because nobody's called them out on it, and we need to change that.
Oh, man.
Number 6. Nights out aren't all about picking up women. I used to go out and just think all the time that if I go out on a night out and I don't pick up a girl, or I don't get with somebody, then I've had a shit night out. You know, that hasn't been a successful night out. And, you know, why does a successful night out mean that you need to be able to pull somebody every time you go out? What a load of bullshit. Go out, have a dance, have a nice time, don't drink to excess. Like, just enjoy the company of your friends, and if anything else should happen, then that's a bonus. But going out and having a good time with the pals that you're with should be priority. You know, if you're going out with expectations of, I need to do this, and that doesn't happen, you're setting yourself up for failure, and every time you go out, you're not going to be thinking about, you're not going to be present, you're not going to be thinking about how you feel there in that moment, the fun you should be having or could be having. You're going to be thinking about the fun that you're not having, i.e. getting with somebody, and it's a load of bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's always great to, well, not always great, but it is great sometimes to, you know, get to know somebody else, have a bit of a one night stand. It's fun and it can be fun, but don't make that your priority, because too often, like me, you set yourself up for failure and you come home and you think you're not desirable, you hate yourself, and you just kind of pick up bad habits and bad thoughts of yourself, because you're not going out to have a fun time with friends. You're setting yourself up for a night that if it doesn't come off, it then reflects badly on you in a way that can, you know, make you feel very self-depreciative of yourself, or at least it did for me anyway, and it might be different for you, but all I'm saying is don't make girls a priority for you on a night out, or don't make boys a priority for you. Whichever way you flow, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy yourself and the company that you're with, and everything else is a bonus.
Oh, man.
Number 7, be upfront with people when you do have a one night stand. And this is a big one for me, because as I've got older and because I've grown up with women around me, mums, sisters, female friends, the more conversations you enter into, the more you realise how much the lack of communication can affect somebody in that one night stand scenario. And if you're somebody like me who, as I've got older, I've come to understand that I take a lot out of being in intimate situations. You know, sex does mean a lot to me, more than just, you know, a little one night stand. If I'm going to have sex with somebody, I want to have sex with somebody that I know is into me for the right reasons, because it means more to me, it feels better, I get more out of it. And sometimes going into that situation without acknowledging that, or without having the conversation that, you know, today I'm not feeling a one night stand, this sex is going to mean a little bit more to me. If you're on the same page, great. We need to have a bit more of an open dialogue about that. If not, then tonight isn't the night. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I can go out and, you know, I just, you know, it would be great to have a one night stand. We have urges sometimes, it's nice to just have sex. But, you know, be open, be upfront, because the other person might not feel the same way.
I'm just not feeling very sexual these days.
If anything, whenever I have done that with people, it's only made the experience better, because you're not overthinking, you know, what their thought processes are. And it makes you a little less selfish as well. You come across as a bit more caring and a bit more mindful. You know, I would hate to ever think that I'm so selfish that I would just think about myself in a situation when I'm having sex with somebody, because there's two people in that situation. You ain't all that to kind of think that that moment is just for you. The other person is in that moment with you, and you need to think about them and acknowledge their feelings and their thoughts and their desires. And if you don't, you're just a bit of an arse, you know, and you don't want to be that guy. Be mindful, be empathetic, and you're both going to have a better time, I guarantee.
That was like the best sex I've ever had, Mrs. Reynolds.
So anyway, that is the 7 things I wish I knew before I started going out. And, you know, let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree with those thoughts? Have I articulated myself well? Do you think I've just chatted utter shit? Let's open some dialogue. Let's talk about these things, because these things are important, not only for our mental health, not only for understanding who we are, but for the betterment of society and everyone else who is within it with us. So yes, like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hate saying it, but I've got to be that guy. And let's just continue to open up this difficult and uncomfortable conversations, and let's just be better people for it.